we made it.
Yeah, finally we made it after all this time.
Oh, my friend, yeah, it's great. It's great to see you, and I'm glad we were finally able to hook it up after about I think 3 or 4 different attempts. So it's great.
So, Stu, I'm going to ask you some warm-up questions first. Like I say, I'm going to ask you, as a musician guitarist, was the guitar your first instrument growing up, and who inspired you?
Yeah, yeah, it was the first instrument for me, and Ace Frehley was the face of what got me into it at about ages of 4 and 5. So watching Ace on TV and seeing the image and the vibe and hearing the sound. Sometimes I think people forget Kiss wrote some great songs. They weren't just the makeup. So for fans of Kiss like me, it was really the first instrument, and Ace was the guy.
Right. So, what about other guitarists inspired you besides Ace?
Oh man,
Tips of the KK down and being a big Priest fan.
oh yeah, man. The mix of KK and Glenn, hearing that for the first time, Thin Lizzy, Scott Gorham, and obviously, as Brian, but there was also the Gary Moore era with that. So, man, the list is so long. Ross the Boss, of course. Ross is still one of my strongest guitar influences, and also too to be able to play with the guy and watch him on stage, and trade is pretty cool. So, but you got guys like Malmsteen, Eddie, all the speed players from I got Cacophony shirt on here.
Yeah,
Marty Friedman.
Rumors.
One of my favorite bands, Vicious Rumors. Probably one.
What do you think of the band Apocrypha? I thought they were absolutely an awesome band.
Amazing. Freddie Anelli, the guitarist.
Yeah, during that third eye blind rubbish thing that he did.
I know, a massive shrapnel. Let's call it a shrapnel fan. The shrapnel era of heavy metal. Name dropping again, but lucky enough to be mates with Jeff Martin. Buddies with Jeff. I stay with Jeff every couple of years up in Tahoe, and we've worked together. We've recorded a whole album together under a band called Blasted to Static.
I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I can talk to you about that. We put an album together that was Racer X inspired. It's been out for about 10 years now. So we got Satchel from Steel Panther playing guitar solos on it too. And
do you mean Russ Parrish? You mean, get it right? Nobody people know that.
Russ. Yeah. He is the nicest guy on the planet. But yeah, guitar players, mate, there are a lot. And that's the beauty of guitar. You can be listening to Jeff Beck and get a certain thing, or Steve Lukather, and then you can listen to guys like Chris Pelletieri and Malmsteen and stuff like that. So I love it all. If it's good guitar playing from Segovia all the way through to, Kerry King, love it.
Yeah, I'm a big Andy LaRocque fan. He's one of my favorite guitarists. Nice guy. I've met him a few times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, real down to earth. He's a shredder from hell.
Yeah, I'm a massive King Diamond fan, and Andy's a massive part of that. Obviously, the album Them. Whenever I play it, I play the whole thing. I don't just play a track off it. It's a 45-minute experience when you put the King on. You don't turn it off or skip a track. So yeah.
I think for me, it's Abigail and Conspiracy.
Conspiracy is such a great album, so underrated. Everybody loves Abigail.
Yeah.
But yeah, really great early era albums for sure.
I actually got my name on a King Diamond album, House of God, because I was friends with Glenn Drover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The old Eidolon days. Me and him go back from the Eidolon with his brother.
Eidolon, great band too. People don't know it.
Yeah.
Really good power metal band. Yeah.
Called Withering, I think Withering, it's called Withering Scorn now, they're called.
Yeah, Drover was in Megadeth when my old band did the tour through Europe with them. And,
which band was it, Stu? Was it Dungeon?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, we did 2 weeks with Megadeth in Europe, and yeah, great player, very professional.
So what was your very first guitar, Stu, that you had? Do you still own it? Oh, is
I
it
sadly don't. The first guitar I got, like many guitar players in the 80s or 70s and 80s, was a piece of garbage called Valencia.
right?
Um, you know, I've upgraded now. I've got about 70 behind me at the moment.
Oh,
Um,
well,
so,
yeah, yeah, I can see some. Wow, is that an
so,
Ibanez?
yeah, so I got a few Steve Vai gems. This
Right,
is a first year floral for the geeks out
nice.
there, the guitar geeks. It's in beautiful naked. Yeah, there's a fair few here. I don't know if you like guitars. Um, this is a nice custom I had made up as well.
Wow, that's pretty. It's good guitar.
Yeah, mate. They all
It's
serve a
very
purpose.
Steve Vai meets Steel Panther with the pink.
Yeah, it's loud. It's loud. It's got my grandson's handprint on the back of it.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Nice
But
guitar, Stu.
yeah, mate. I love them. They're all different paintbrushes to do different things with, and um, but yeah, first guitar Valencia, and then sort of just upgraded from there and found the lust for gear, and
So, are you
it's never ended.
endorsed? Are you endorsed by anybody?
Yeah, currently, I'm with PRS Guitars. I'm, the guys are great. The endorsement has been about a 4 to 5 year one, but it's really around touring gear. So they support me whenever I tour, but the touring is really slowed down. Sadly, I wish I was more busy. I was built to tour, and things have slowed down a lot. But yeah, I'm with him, but I play a lot of different guitars, Gibsons, Jacksons. I've got a USA Jackson fixation at the moment, so bit of a haul when it comes to gear. They're just tools, they're just paintbrushes.
Yeah, right. So, what was the very first band you was in before Dungeon?
Um, oh, mate, I started in some really terrible bands.
But didn't we all? Didn't we all?
Yeah, mate, late teens, early 20s. I was in a band called Ravaged Heart. We thought we were going to take over the world. I've still got some photos of that band. Dyed long hair, and these bands are great to make all the mistakes in, right?
Yeah,
And these were back in the days. This was probably sort of mid '80s to late '80s. These were in the days where you still had a chance of making it. There was still a chance of, so the dreams were so overflowing, but the talent just wasn't there, or the opportunity in a small town in Australia wasn't there. So, but getting the gig in Dungeon for me was life changing, and I loved being in that band until I didn't. I left that
great
band.
band, absolutely great band. I've got all the albums, Stu.
Look, 20 years ago, I left that band. I can't believe it's been 20 years, and just yeah, I'm proud of the band at the time. We had a great run, and
Yeah.
but moving on, after that, I formed Pain Division straight after and went to Japan and did some touring and things like that. So I've been pretty active for the last 20 years.
So just before we finish talking about Dungeon, what's your favorite album you recorded with them?
Out of any of them.
Yeah, out of all the Dungeon albums.
Oh, just the Dungeon albums.
Yeah, yeah.
So I only played on two albums, and I would say One Step Beyond would
Great
be
album.
my
Yeah.
yeah, because I wrote a portion of that album for the first time as a writer. So songs like Terreno Del Mar, I wrote a good 60% of that, and The Art of War, I wrote a good 60% of that. So there's a lot of me on that album, and yeah, then as soon as that album tour cycle finished, I was out. So anything sort of after that, I had nothing to do with.
Yeah, I've got the actual CD with the live DVD that they put out at Limp LMP Music did, like a special edition.
They did a great job. Lim did a really good job with that, and yeah, that's a Live in Japan
Yeah,
album, right? With it. Yeah. That was
DVD.
cool.
Yeah. So this other
That was
band you
cool.
got going, Stu, after Dungeon, what was it again? What were they called?
Oh, look, short-lived. Called Pain Division.
Right. Okay.
A very 2000s name. I wanted to combine Wasp and Motorhead,
Okay.
and so we released a couple of albums, did a tour of Japan. Um, pretty volatile band. Um, great lead singer and lead frontman, but very volatile. And it didn't work out, but we had a great time. And it was just after that experience of anyone that's been in bands, it's like and it's sometimes a very explosive family, and sometimes you can be looking at it going, this isn't fun anymore. And so coming out of that, that's why I did my Empires of Eden albums, because they were solo albums, but they weren't Stu Marshall, because all the singers wrote all the lyrics and melodies.
Right.
So I just buried myself in being able to have. It's not a control thing. I'm fine with handing stuff over. It's just the getting things done thing is the explanation. So, yeah.
So the Empires of Eden, you did some really good albums. So many singers. How did you find all these singers? I mean, obviously you got Sean on there. You had Zach Stevens from Sabotage was on there.
You've got Udo Dirkschneider. We got Ralph Sheepers, Mike Casera. Look. The fun thing I think about it is, for all of your viewers and even yourself, go through your record collection and go, oh, I'd really like to work with that person. And then pull out the LP. Oh, I'd really like to work. And that's exactly what I did. I went, oh, well, I'm a huge Malmsteen fan. And I love the Mike Vasera albums. What would it be like to write for Mike? So I wrote to him. And I said, look, I'm doing this album. I'm a composer. I got a studio. I'd love you to sing. He goes, sure, I'm keen. And then when I told Mike, especially Mike Vasera, I said, you have all the power to write all your own lyrics and melodies. He was thrilled, because I think I'm naively learning is a lot of these guys get tracks where the singer, like the guy like me, says, you have to do this vocal and you have to do these lyrics. And they're fine to do that. But 9 times out of 10, I want people writing their own lyrics and melodies. And so that what you then get as a listener is, when Jason puts the headphones on, you're actually hearing what Mike wants to say.
Yeah.
It's not what I want to say. So it gives us the unique feel of these albums. Zach Stevens is a great example. So he sent me back the tracks for this song. And at first I'm like, man, I wouldn't really do that in the chorus, but I went, okay. And then it dawned on me, of course you wouldn't do it. That's what he wants to do. He's happy with that.
Yeah.
And then it became actually my favorite track on the album, because it's got this really unique melody line he's got rolling. So yeah, it's a great experience to work with people. And there's a couple of singers that I reached out to that I can't afford.
Right? Who were they?
And B, that weren't available. Well, I couldn't afford Bruce, and more than that, he probably, he wasn't available because nobody got back to me, and may not have been interested. Well, let's call it what it is too. You've got to find people that resonate with the music. So, and it's the same thing. I'd love to write for Rob. I think I could compose some metal for Rob that Priest fans would really enjoy.
What about Tim? Did you approach Tim?
Yeah, Tim. I've spoken to Tim, and he has some interest. It's just about finding time within his touring schedule and what he's doing. He's very busy with KK's Priest. I'd love to write some stuff for him. I did reach out to him pre-Christmas and said, if you're ever doing a solo album, let me know, because I'd love to write some music for him. And he sent me back a thumbs up. So yeah, it's just about finding people that want to engage.
What about somebody like Warrell Dane? Did you ever reach out to Warrell before he passed?
No, I didn't. Love his voice and Nevermore. I'd like to know probably the date that we lost Warrell, because it was probably quite early in the Empires of Eden cycle. But look, I can tell you, I've spoken to Eric AK from Flotsam and Jetsam for this new record that I'm doing, and he sent me back a demo that's just unbelievable.
Wow.
Alan Atkins, the original Priest vocalist, I become friends with Al, and I played on his solo album, and he sent me back his demo, and it sounds incredible. So the next one's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. When's this going to be released? Are you allowed to say, or is it?
I'd say it'll be a 2027 thing, mate.
Have you got all the singers in mind, or do you need any recommendations? Because I can send you some people that I think might be suitable for your next album.
Always open. Send me an email with some names if you know the people. I've got a spreadsheet of a wish list,
Right.
um, and yeah, it's so weird, you know. I What happens? The process I should explain really quickly is that I have a wish list, but I want to make sure that I've got material that's perfectly suited for that voice,
Yeah,
and a
exactly.
lot of the
Yeah.
times I'll compose fresh stuff. So um, before I approach them, I want to have the song ready. You know, I want to be professional, and I don't want to be going, oh, hi, would you like to sing on this? Yeah, I'm great. I'm ready to go. Send me the tracks. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go and do it. So
Yeah.
try and be professional and have it all done for them before I even approach. And then there are times where they say no, and then I might offer that track to another performer, and they take it and they make something new with it. So it's really great.
So, what singers are you looking for, Stu, for the next Empires of Eden? Do you want power metal singers, traditional metal singers? Give me some sort of idea, and then I can reach out to you after this interview.
Well, the cool thing is, the last one album I released a year ago, there's thrash on there, like real thrash, not a guy trying to pretend he can
Okay.
play thrash, you know, because that's what we used to do. Was power thrash with Dungeon. I'm into everything from Cannibal Corpse through to
I know those
through, through
guys.
through melody. You know, like the last album I released, I had the drummer from Harem Scarum, um, you know, sing a melodic rock song on
Yeah,
there.
right.
So all the gates are open on Empires of Eden now. You know, if I want to do a ballad, I'll do a ballad. If I want to
Yeah.
do a death metal song, I'll do it. Yeah. So that's, you know, some people got that with the last reviews. They really enjoyed that. And then some people were completely confused going, why am I hearing all this different stuff? So,
A
well,
great singer for a power metal ballad would be Tony Martin.
yeah, well, no question, no question. I wrote to Tony and his people on the last album and never got a response. So maybe we can see how that goes.
Leave it with me. I'll have a word with him for you. Thanks for checking into the interview with Stu Marshall, as we just talked about his previous band Dungeon and his project Empires of Eden. Next to come up is his new band Death Dealer, as we're talking about the new album and the history of the band. Thanks for watching and enjoy.